Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Punishing Gray Raven reaction. Today we have a request from the comments of last video by Ferox that wanted me to get to Infinite Gallery. The song is a couple years old and I don't think I've seen many people comment it in the past, but a few people did like that comment from the last video and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let's listen to another GhostFinal song. Why would I ever say no to that? So I guess without further ado, let's just jump right into this one, shall we? Let's go. Ooh. It's giving melodic dubstep immediately. I can already tell this is going to be like a religious experience. It's going to be gorgeous. I love bringing in the violin or cello. That's a cello, 100%. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Melodic dubstep it is. God, this is such a beautiful progression. Oh. I want more of that. That was a little too short. I need more of that. I think we're gonna be getting it though. Cranking it up really hard, okay. Ooh. Wait a minute. Okay. We're a little angry. Woo. Very growly bass on that. Almost acidic. Go back to the melody. Ooh. Whoa. That's a very interesting way to blend those two. That blend is making me think things. We might have more to talk about after this is done than I thought. Okay, that moved a lot more than I ever expected it was going to. So the way that this song was structured kind of made me rethink my own thoughts about this song. In the beginning, I was like, oh, this is just an original piece. And then as it moved to the other tonal sound that like got a little bit more gritty, a little darker, I'm like, okay, maybe this is deeper than I thought. Maybe it's a character story going through something. And then it blended everything at the end and I'm like, okay, this is starting to sound a little familiar. And then I was like, okay, let me audio, check. So I was like, maybe it's from something I'd heard before from PGR, and there's definitely some like leitmotif theme borrowing in here, even if it's just fairly subtle. So like around the 1 minute to 1.5 minute time, I was like, okay, that EDM cello blend is sounding kind of familiar. That's Narwhal. I've heard that song before. I've listened to that. I've done a video on it. There's also a little bit of what I believe might be Lamia in there, but I'm not fully sure. Again, these leitmotifs are fairly subtle. Like, they're not the exact themes. They're like just borrowing the overall energy. Like one of those Narwhal parts in there, for example, the vocal line that's in Lamia is like kind of nestled in to that earlier section, like it's trying to lead into the part that later calls back to Lamia's actual like moment in this song. And that's very confusing, but this is one of those songs that's weaving everything so beautifully together, borrowing little bits and pieces from stuff that has probably been done for years prior to this. I'm not sure if this is some sort of like an anniversary song or how that works. Usually that's when these games kind of do that sort of thing. They want to pay homage to everything that has gotten them to a certain point, so it tends to reflect on a lot of those earlier themes and borrow from them, even if it's just thematic borrowing and not so much like a direct leitmotif rip. But this was really interesting to me because it had so many different varying tones thrown together, especially in that last section that was just, it felt like a lot of that shouldn't go together, but somehow they made it work. Like there was a lot of moments in there, especially because they were largely trying to blend the first and second chunks of the song into that final movement. And those two sounds really don't tend to work well together because one is very bright, motivating, positive, and hopeful, and the other is a little bit more like downtrodden on itself. It feels a lot more like it has an emotional weight to bear on it, so it's very difficult to like blend those two sounds into one. And this like chaotic amalgamation at the end, this like lump of whatever they managed to make at the end, is really cool because they did make it work. They just made some slight adjustments to make that happen. But that's how you get songs like this to work together, ones that really shouldn't work together. You rub them together aggressively like tectonic plates in the earth, hoping that the earthquake ends up creating something beautiful like a mountain instead of tearing down a city. It's very difficult to manage that, and there's a lot of things in that section that could have gone wrong. And that's why I may have looked a little confused when that section started, because I'm like, what's going on here? What is gonna be the rest of this song? Where are they gonna take it? Because I can't tell. And then as it settled itself in, I'm like, oh shit, like it finally started to make sense. And it became this realization for me that even though these sounds came from completely different locations, they are heading towards the same goal, and they're kind of managing to work themselves into one cohesive piece by the end. It was almost like a funnel. Like you have these two different sounds completely, could get into camera here. You have two different sounds completely coming together as the song goes on, and by the time it actually got to the end, you're in that final tunnel and everything is kind of mixing together. I don't know how else to explain that or visualize it. It's just the sensation that the song gave me. The way that they blended this together is amazing. I've always been a fan of GhostFinal's electronic work, especially because of the mixing, the mastering, the way that they know how to do this shit. The way that they can take all these odd sounds and make them work somehow is a complete clusterfuck of knowledge to me. I don't know how people manage to do this sort of thing, but GhostFinal manages it every single time, and it's always really, really good. So I guess that's really all I gotta say about this one is amazing in the way that it threw me off more than GhostFinal's work usually does, because yeah, a lot of the time GhostFinal does throw in things that I'm like, whoa, that's kind of weird, that's unique, that shouldn't work, and they always manage to make it work, and I'm always surprised because it's always a slightly different collaboration of noise that he manages to make work. So I guess I'll end the video here. Thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you for requesting this song, Ferox. I am so glad I finally listened to this one, and if you guys have any any other songs you want me to listen to from PGR or anything else, please let me know down below. I will be getting to more PGR stuff a lot more this year, so if you have something, I will definitely get to it more frequently than I used to, probably about once a week you can expect. And of course, if you just like this video and you want to follow me and support me for the other stuff I'm putting out, I'll also be putting out some long form content this year as well. If you haven't heard about my second channel, that's also a thing. So if you want to give that a follow as well as the main channel, be my guest, and I suppose I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!